stay real close till the end. Forgiving each other, letting love cover. Always sisters, always friends. We have to live in harmony, even though we may disagree. Smiling each other is not the answer. Sharing the grace.
Woo. Hello, everybody.
Good morning, good afternoon.
And hello, all of that good stuff. It's all good. It's all wonderful. It's a great God day.
Yes,
I'm Wyoming.
I'm Pat. I'm Linda.
And I'm Charlene.
And we are
4Sisters Live.
Ooh, it's a great God day. Lynn, who you are today, girl? Who
is she? My goodness.
Ooh, go, girl.
I just want to remind everyone to please wear your mask. Don't forget. Don't believe the hype. We still need to wear our mask. Okay,
that's right. I hear you, girl.
You know, I bring mine down until somebody start coming towards me, and then I put it right back up. But yeah. This is not the time to completely take off your mask, no matter what they say.
Even if you are at a party, you know, a friend is on Facebook right now soliciting our prayers. They hosted a DJ party for a great party, and he's in the hospital sick right now, and he's very popular around here in this area, the DC DMV area. And let me tell you, hey, that was a crowded room 2 weeks ago.
Real. Yeah, it's real. So we got to definitely.
You don't know who's carrying it, and that's for people who had the shot. That's for people who had the shot. Let's remind you.
Wow.
Yes,
be careful. Don't take it for granted. Keep those masks on. Wash your hands and limit your contact. Like if somebody's talking, and
still keep your distance. Right.
Your distance.
You can do it pleasantly. You just kind of move around and and hey,
watch that spit flow. Yeah. Okay.
For real.
Yeah, it's all of that. This is our Health and Wellness Day, so we got to give tips. We got to give what it takes for us to let everyone know we are still not totally safe yet.
No, we are not.
Wear your mask, wash your hands, people. Just stay.
And you know what? I got another one for you. Wash your phone. Every time you go into the bathroom, take your phone with you when you wash your face, because you need to wash the face of your phone. Because we use our phone all day long. Everything we touch, it goes to the phone. So wash your phones.
Can I say this? You remember back in the day when we used to have these pay phones on the corner?
Oh my goodness!
And we would go into those pay phones and we would put the phone up under the chin. You can imagine the germs and bacteria from phones.
Oh my goodness!
Zillions.
That was good bacteria back then.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Our immune systems was up and running and doing well at that time, so we thought. Wait a minute, ladies. Hold on, Charlotte. Hold on. Is J-Lo here today? I thought I saw J. That's Charlene. Oh my God. Oh, Charlene. Girl.
J-Lo.
You looking like a J-Lo today.
Hello.
I just wanted to double check. You look like you need to be running on the beach, in slow motion.
Right. Oh, like Bo Derek.
Like Bo Derek.
Bo Derek, yes. That's who it was.
Yeah. You're looking good, girl. Love it. Hello, everybody out there. Happy, lovely day. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. Happy Mother's Day, Peg.
Thank you,
Day, Lynn. Happy Mother's Day, Charlene.
Back at you, my sister.
Thank you. I am blessed. We all blessed to have our children. It's just a wonderful thing,
Yes.
It is so great. So happy Mother's Day. Yes, Dante, we want to say happy Mother's Day at this point. Send out our love and all our blessings to moms, because it has not been easy. Look, they said we don't get paid enough to be a mother.
No, but it pays to be a mother if you raise them right. It pays.
Yes.
There's not enough.
We don't get paid. So happy Mother's Day to our mothers, all the aunts, all the stepmothers, all the godmommies, all of you all, even the dads who are stepping in as a role as a mom.
Happy
Mom's Day. This is a precious opportunity for us to love upon our moms. And if you have your mom, you know it's a wonderful and a blessing to have.
Yes.
But you
Yes,
know,
it
if you don't,
is.
the spirit still lives on. You know, so
Yes.
yeah, you know, Linda, you know, your
Yes.
mom, you got to picture your mom today.
Yeah, Dante, put
Yeah.
your great grandma up.
Yes, it's so
Your great
nice. We're
grandma.
honoring our moms. We're honoring our mothers. And last week we honored my mother. And this week we're going to honor Linda's mom so that we can just say Happy Mother's Day to her in heaven.
Oh,
There she
There
is
she
Yes,
is,
yes,
in
Mama.
Indiana
Indiana.
Powell.
Yes.
Yay!
Much love in heaven to my sweet mom, sweet mama. Yes. And I also want to say happy Mother's Day to all her sisters and, you know, all my aunties. They're in New York. We got Aunt Ruth, Aunt Marion, Aunt Laura, Aunt Bunny, oh, Lord, got a whole bunch of them. Hope I don't miss them. Ruth, Naomi.
You better not miss that one name. Keep
Because they're
going.
going to
I
let
know.
you know.
You know, Aunt Marion, I'll be in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. Just happy
Beautiful,
Mother's Day
beautiful
to all y'all.
sisters, and all of my beautiful aunties are still living. So happy Mother's Day
Happy
to all my
Mother's
aunties
Day and
and
to
to all
all
my
of you
family.
all.
Yes,
Yes, everyone out there. So we
everyone.
thank you all for being with us, sharing with us. Share, share, share.
Aunt
Like,
Fanny,
like,
ooh, Aunt
like.
Fanny's right here in DC. So much
Uh-oh.
love to her.
There you
She
go. You know.
just turned 90.
Oh,
Woo-hoo. They're
wow.
all
That's
in
a
their 80s and
blessing.
90s. They're just beautiful women. I love them.
Yeah, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
not only is it Mother's Day that we're celebrating Mother's Day this month, the month of May, we know this is our mental health awareness month.
Yes.
And, you know, we have to acknowledge that there's a lot going on still in our country that's relative to us staying healthy. And we have to take care of that mental. You know, Linda, you know also well how we've been talking about how important it is that we maintain our mental. My mother said to me one time, she said, if you keep your mind, you'll be okay, but you got to keep your mind.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
keep your
You got
mind,
to
you'll
keep
lose
your
it. And
mind.
that is so, so, so important. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think
It's
we
so
take away.
it's yeah, because you know, especially during this time when everything is happening and you know everything is playing on our intelligence and everything else, you know, we start
Absolutely.
doubting ourselves. Stop doubting yourself, deal with yourself, and if you need help, go and get help, because it's not a shame. It's not, you know, it's another doctor that we might need. So mental health is, I
Absolutely.
mean, it controls everything. So if we don't get this right, everything else is going to go wrong. So
Absolutely.
this is mental
Absolutely.
health month, and we want you, hey, go on YouTube. There's so many meditations, there's so many exercises and things that we can do to calm our minds. So, and get plenty of rest, because that helps too.
I see Lewis Cunningham is saying hello, ladies.
Hey, Lewis.
Our trainer, our
Our
trainer.
trainer. That's one way to help your mental health, Linda.
Oh yeah,
Is
you
to
can
do
just
some
go ahead.
walking. I think we should
Yeah.
give people some tips about how to clear your mental health and what we do. I'll start. I walk. I walk every single day. I take a 5-minute walk, and sometimes I listen to music. And my music yesterday was "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. What about you, Wyoming? For
Every
mental health,
morning. For my mental health, I stretch. First of all, I pray in the morning.
that's a good
You
one.
know, I
That's
pray
a good
first
one.
thing when I
Yes.
get up. I have my meditation prayer that I play. I have songs. I have my go-to songs, you know, that I play in the morning, and then I stretch, and then I do my lifts. Listen up, Lewis. I'm doing it at home.
Yes.
I'm doing my leg lifts. I'm doing my stretches. Oh yeah, and I'm doing everything to just keep my body in shape from that perspective, because you can't get out to the gym. So look, your body don't know whether you're in the gym or at home. So you know,
Right.
that's
That
my
is
thing.
so
How you
true.
do your thing, Peg?
All right, Peg.
I find the peaceful place in the house where there's no sound, no music,
Wow.
no
Mm,
TV,
mm,
just peace
mm-hmm.
for 10 minutes. That's
Really?
all I need.
Ooh,
Yes.
That's
That's
good.
good.
You
that's
can't,
powerful.
peace, you
People need
can't look.
quiet.
Peace, be still.
There
Right.
you go.
Peace,
Right.
be still. But
And
I do have a question for you ladies. And this is one question. We're going to answer it once, and then we move on. You don't have to elaborate. But what is one thing that you can remember, talking about Mother's Day, one thing that you could think that your mother gave you advice of as you were growing up. One thing that you could think of.
Oh, that was good because I wanted to ask
you mine. Go ahead.
Yeah, so mine. You want me to answer?
Yes, go ahead.
Mine was keep your mind on Jesus.
Wow.
Like when you said something about the mind, I'm like, it is so relevant now.
Yes.
It is so relevant now to everything in my life. I don't care what I'm doing, whether I'm in school, working. Keep your mind on Jesus. When your mind falters and go away off of him, I don't care what it is. Some people are like, well, I got another, whatever your thing is, but mine is Jesus. And when she said that to me, I didn't get it until now. It's taken over 40 some years for me to get it, and I get it. And it's just more than just that. It's everything about your mind.
Yes, right.
Your mind on Jesus.
So what do you have, Linda? What did you learn from your mom?
I remember my mom telling me, stop burning the candle at both ends.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the only one I really remember because I'm always going. And she said, oh, you got to stop burning the candles at both ends. And that's so true because we all start doing so many things. If we're active women and we're women on the go. So yeah, that's what I remember mom telling me.
Peg, what about you? What mama tell you?
Mama would always say, this too shall pass.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
And I kept saying, when?
Yeah.
When? But I learned, and it did. And it was all about how you handled it. Mm-hmm. Whatever was going on in my life, whatever, it was a lesson learned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it did go away. It's how you handle it once it leaves your space.
Okay.
Well, I remember my mom would tell me to always tell her the truth. No matter how bad it may seem, please tell me the truth. Because I never got a beat. I got a beat one time. I was a good girl. Ooh. I got a beat one time, and I promise you, I remember that I ran from my mother, and you know how you grab the belt before it hit you. And I ran the room and closed the door. That was a no-no. So that was the first time I did that. First and last time, rather. But anyway, she would tell me the truth, no matter how it may seem. Tell the truth, and she always would say, because right will win in the end.
That's so good. That's good stuff.
That's funny. I tell my son the same thing. Just always tell me the truth, and he just has an easy time saying it. I'm like, oh, I couldn't take it one time. I was like, whoa. It works. It builds trusting relationship. Don't you feel closer to your mom for her saying that? Wow.
I said, don't marry a man 10 years older than me. Okay. What? Hey, many of you ladies have some things you want to share with us because we're still learning. We are mothers, and there's some things,
right on go to Facebook Live. Look for 4Sisters.
Yeah, and tell us what's going on.
Communicate. Let everybody know we're here because we want to hear you.
Definitely. But that's a good thing. Mama said, even talk about a man, my mother would say, always, if you're in a relationship with a mate, make sure you have things in common.
Yes.
Yes. That helps.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot, right?
But there was a song. I always like songs. You remember that song? Mama used to say, "Take your time, young man."
Yes.
Mama used to say, "Don't you get together?"
All right, guys.
Okay.
We got it right on, guys.
But no. This is what it's about. We honoring our ladies. We're honoring moms. And speaking of honoring and saluting women, Peg, don't we have some ladies that we saluted for Sisters for Sisters Network that we honored in the month of May? Who are they?
I must apologize. I don't have the slide up.
Oh, okay.
We'll do it the next time.
No, This is the time. Today's Mother's Day. Find it.
No, meanwhile,
we'll do it on
but who are the ladies? Because we know we had Alicia Pryor.
Alicia Pryor was one.
Judith Clark.
Yes. Gina Duncan. And there was one more.
They're gonna get you, Peggy.
They're
gonna get you.
Yep.
Well, while you looking for that, Alicia Pryor said her mama used to say, "Money don't grow on trees."
Oh, that's
is that
good
why
one.
she's in the financial area now?
That's
Right.
she created her own tree.
Created her own tree, baby. Absolutely. But no, we have some very special moments. We got special guests. Linda, this is your day. We know that you want to get to it and get your guests going. We got Dr. Lane Rowling.
Yes.
Who you have?
First of all, of course, we have Dr. Lane Rowling. Who's going to give us the power of 10. We have Helen Jenkins. We're going to talk all about diabetes and you 101, talking about you and our food. And we also have Kimberly. We have Kimberly Farley. She's a dental hygienist and she deals with cannabis with your gums. So you don't want to miss that.
Wow, really?
Tune in. Yeah, we're going to have an exciting show.
Oh, that sounds really good. That sounds really Linda. So Paige, did you remember who the other person is? Are we trying to get you down here?
You must remember, you know, I'm getting older and my mind is not as sharp as it used to be, right? So please forgive me.
We understand. You go. Hey, you had yours this week. I had mine last week. Okay.
Coffee, Peggy. Coffee. CBD coffee works for everybody, right, Linda?
Okay. I took my hemp oil this morning. I did my pump this morning, so you know, I'm ready.
Well, we're ready to receive all of our health tips for today.
Oh, did you see what Tori says? Tori says, "Power 904 Radio sends love on Mother's Day."
Oh, thank you,
forget Power 904. Yes.
Thank you.
Don't forget to listen to us on Sunday at 9 o'clock on power904.com.
That's right. Absolutely.
If you miss us, that's where to go at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what do we have coming up? Miss Linda?
Right now we have Dr. Rowling.
Is he here?
Dr. Rowling is in the house.
He's here.
He's here.
Yay! Wait a minute. I get to have him 2 times in a week. Well, really, I get to see him 4 times in a week because I follow him everywhere. So yeah.
I'm following him too.
Good yes, welcome. We missed you.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
I hear your thing.
We can't hear you.
Good morning.
Doctor, turn on your mic.
Okay.
Hey, there we go.
You looking sharp. You going on a date today? Where you going?
Oh, just working.
Okay.
Looking good all the time. How you doing, Dr. Rowling?
Super fantastic. How you ladies doing?
We are doing absolutely great, and we like you said, we're following you all over the world. This week, I heard about the Kofax in Africa. Just want to let you know, we know the word is out. So you're gonna have 10 tips for us. Something we know we need you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always gonna have some tips for you guys, but I think the most important thing is you guys is making sure you guys stay abreast of the rapid transition, the SARS virus.
Yes.
And what's happening in the real world, because if you do that and you listen to me, you're going to survive. If not, you're going to have a bad outcome. Like I've told people before, you know, and I've talked about this all the time. What happens in India, what happens in Brazil, what happens, across the world comes here to the United States. And this endemic, this triple mutation will be here in the next 6 weeks, in the 8 weeks, full blown, even though the triple mutation is already here.
Oh my goodness. We see, and you can't listen to everything that you hear on TV. They're telling us to take our mask off. They're telling us all of these things.
Well, that's what they make their mistake at. I mean, they were telling you last year not to wear a mask, and 600,000 people are in body bags. And now we're going to go, this is another year, and we're going to get another 600,000 people in body bags. And I want to hear what everybody's excuse is when your loved one dies or if somebody in your family dies because of people's not understanding medicine. What's the excuse? I mean, what are you going to say? Your family is a footnote in life, and people are going to be eating apple pie and going to church on Sunday without you or your family members. So you can make sure that you protect yourself.
Yes. Well, we're waiting. We're listening to you, and we respect everything that you're doing. Thank you for your awesome service to us and the world, because you are the voice for us.
I appreciate that. And like I said, we have a long ways to go.
Yes, yes. Okay, so what tips do you have for us today?
Well, I think I wanted to make an announcement. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about transplantation, organ transplantation on the board, and talking about the fact that, people get the vaccine before they have their transplant. These people still coming up infected with the virus. So that shows and how the vaccine is not going to really make that big of a difference in this new pandemic or endemic infection through the triple mutation. That's just the reality, folks. There's no way the vaccine, Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, AstraZeneca, you put all of them back together, they're still not going to have an effect on the Indian mutation, double mutation, even the West Bengal triple mutation. That is the reality. So what does that tell you? Because I've talked about this before, on that this virus mutates on a regular basis. There's over 4,000 different variants. And I talked about this 8 months ago. What's going to happen is that, and it's doing exactly what I said, you got this RNA viruses from one person, another person has an RNA virus, a variant mutant. They get together, they cough, they interchange whatever through secretion, respiratory, fecal matter, and that virus becomes one a super pathogen like it is now with the triple mutation. So that triple mutation came from 3 different persons, 3 different variants that got together and created this super virus that's killing everybody in India, and also driving the double mutation down in, throughout the world. And this is going to be the driving force over the next year. So the most important thing that I'm trying to get people to understand, you got vaccinations. We're not going to be able to vaccinate ourselves out of this. They're going to have to create a new vaccine for the triple mutation. They're going to have to create a new vaccine for the double mutation. They're going to have to create a new vaccine for the South African, Brazil, and I can go on and on down the list. So how do we survive this? What's the best outcome? How do I make your life better so you're not having the complication? Because everybody on this particular Zoom call has experienced somebody that has the SARS-CoV virus, one form or another, a friend of a friend, a family member, the Mars Mother Day. And I can tell you, probably in the last 6 months, I've dealt with 50 mothers of people that have called me and their mothers have died from the SARS-CoV virus. And so our responsibility is to make sure that we give people the information so they can make the best decision for themselves. So here's a pointer for people to understand how you're going to make it. We're not going to be able to vaccinate our way through that. That's a fact. We're never going to get to herd immunity. That's a fact. How do you survive this? 1, you better make sure you got a mask. And that mask you have better not be an N95 or an antibacterial mask. Your mask has to be an antiviral mask. Let me repeat again. The mask that you have is an antiviral mask because this is a virus. And definitely with these triple mutations now, you better have the best mask and step up your game to make sure you're able to survive this. And so you got to have an antiviral mask. The second thing is that I think is probably, and I've talked about this, not just on different platforms. I've talked about this at the Skis Healthcare Disparity Conference I did 4 or 5 years ago. I also talk about this in my molecular infectious disease program in Peru. One of the biggest transmitted diseases, folks, and people hate this word, but it's feces. Bottom line, when we look at India, 90% of the people in India don't use bathrooms or toilets. They poop in the streets. That is part of their custom. That is part of their culture. They've tried for the last 20 years to indoctrinate their people, educate them on the significance of actually using the bathroom on a toilet, but they don't do that. And so when it comes to feces is probably the most is driving the force of the infection worldwide, especially in India and these countries. What I'm telling folks, if you guys are going to make it, besides having a mask, one of the things that you're going to have to control, and I've talked about that, you guys are going to have to control your bathroom. What do I mean? You have to make sure that you are disinfecting your bathroom with the best stuff on the planet. And that is P28 and P30 that we have, our organization have, because the bathroom is critical. You have to make sure the bathroom is sterilized on a regular basis and make sure there's no fecal aerosolization in your bathroom. I was just talking to the epidemiologist in Chicago yesterday. I'm doing a platform, a broadcast with them for all the public health folks in Chicago. Well, they got a building that was infected. They couldn't figure out how the building was infected. Well, guess what, folks? The building was infected because somebody was positive in that bathroom. They flushed that toilet. It went up into the air vents, and the air vents were connected. That virus became fecal aerolized. So once again, it goes back to what I'm talking about. You have to control your bathroom, period. End of story. You have to make sure that that bathroom is sterilized, making sure that you have the best technology that lasts for 30 days and not on a regular basis, because people get kind of lazy on doing that. Very important, making sure that what you're using is actually going to kill the SARS-CoV virus and not some coronavirus lookalike. That is critical. Also, making sure you guys continue to understand situational awareness in the environment where you're at. I promise you, 100%, mark my words, I want you not to wear a mask. Go to a football game. I want you to get on a plane and fly down to India or Brazil and breathe in that fresh air. And I promise you, you'll be in a body bag within 30 days. So do not listen to people. You would be wearing a mask for the next 50 years. That is a fact. This is an airborne disease, 150%. So you have to protect yourself.
You just laid a lot on us, and that's so true, because now they're opening up the restaurants. So we're going to the restrooms. So this is a matter of fact. We do have to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dr. Lane Ronan, if you could take the last 60 seconds or so to tell us about this COVAX vaccine that's going to be coming out, because we know you've been speaking about it, you stand by it, and we want to get just a little bit of information as to where is that at this time.
Well, COVAX should be out within the next month. The bottom line is that when it comes to vaccines, we have different vaccine platforms. You guys already know them: Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, and Pfizer. Well, COVAX is a different vaccine platform. In my opinion, based off of the medicine and science, is the best platform to give you a bigger neutralization antibody to be able to neutralize the virus. All these other vaccines do not have the neutralization high capacity that this particular platform has, and this is shown in not just in animal models, but human beings. So in my opinion, COVAX is going to be the next game of the change, world-changing vaccine that might help mitigate and contain this disease. But I think everybody needs to understand is that it doesn't matter what vaccine you get, you will be getting a booster shot for the next 50 years. That's the way it's going to be. You're going to be getting 2-3 booster shots every year for the next 50 years, because there is no long-term affinity maturation or conferred immunity when it comes to coronavirus infections. You always have to get a shot. So Big Mama in the Mississippi Delta, Big Mama is going to be getting a booster shot for the rest of her life. But at the end of the day, Big Mama has to make sure that she's doing great biosafety, biosecurity protocols, having an antiviral mask, not an antibacterial mask, making sure she has the best surface infected to disinfect her bathroom, etc. Home testing for herself to make sure she tests herself and her family on a regular basis.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You know, you are all around the world telling everyone how to take care of themselves, where we are with our health. We can't thank you enough for all you do for our community, for our country, for us as a people, because we still, have doubts. There's so many of us that still don't know what to do and how to trust the system. And that's that's the biggest thing. How do we trust the system is to tell us what we need to do. And I think you're being honest with us. You've been forthright with us. And we're watching you. We're definitely watching you. So we're for real.
Stay on your platform. And like I say, you can never argue against the medicine and science. People might not like me because I'm black. I've experienced systemic racism in my life. I've been called in my life. I've been screwed by the white guy in my life. But at the end of the day, guess what? They can never, ever argue with the medicine and science if you truly know it. It was something else, but guess what? The science is, and that's the reality. And like I always say, I will see you ladies on the other side.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Roland. We salute you for what you do. Yes.
Salute, guys. Yeah, don't forget, they can follow you. The information is inside of the comment box, how to follow him. And know that that vaccine is not going to be available right now. So that he talked about COVAX, but
it's coming.
That is coming. Yes.
Most important thing is that the vaccine, it will be made in the United States.
That's
important.
That's helpful.
great.
But they're shipping it over to Africa right now. Is that how it's working?
Yes, it's already in the third world countries and stuff. You're absolutely correct about that. But when we bring it home, it's going to be home here in the States. We don't have to rely on India for materials, because a lot of people realize that India makes 98% of vaccines. Well, they shut down.
Oh, wow. Yes, that's so true. Wow, we didn't know that.
America breaks. Sorry.
Okay. But
so Doctor, just one last thing. How you spelling the COVAX? So we'll make sure we have the correct spelling.
COVAXX.
Okay.
Double X at the end.
Okay.
Got you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ooh, boy.
That is so good. Always.
Hold your seat. Oh, my goodness.
He is my favorite doctor in the whole wide world right now. Okay.
Yes.
Shout out to Dr. Fauci, but nothing like our doctor. Hello.
Our doctor is the #1 doctor in the world.
In the world. I mean, he is just hip, honey. So that was like another Mother's Day tip for me, because I'm supposed to go out to this Top Chef restaurant in Bethesda. I'm like, oh my God, I am never using the bathroom. I ain't even drinking. I'm just gonna hold it, like.
I know. Well, moving right along, we got Kimberly in the wings. Kimberly, where are you? We have Miss Kimberly Farley.
I'm excited about this because, honey, you got to keep that breath fresh.
Woo! Yes, keep them clean. Keep them
clean. This is one area you need to take care of. Hello,
especially since we haven't been to the dentist in a year. Okay.
3 months. Wait. February, March, April, May.
Okay.
4 months.
Okay, I'm glad you've been. Okay, where's Peggy? Where is Miss Farley?
She's not here.
Oh, to send her okay, can you send her the link again? Did you send her the link again?
No,
you had a problem getting on.
Let's get her in. So let's move right along and have our hygienist Helen. Helen, I know, is here, and then we'll get Kimberly in for certain.
Okay. So let's move right along. Helen, are you in the house? There she is.
Helen's in the house. Woo, look at her.
Look at her. We have our nurse, our RN of Sister for Sister Network and 4Sisters Live. You've already been adopted as our head nurse. So I just want to let you know.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you again for letting me come back on this show. Again, you know, I love to talk about diabetes. So anytime I get a chance to do it, that's going to be my thing.
Okay. And that's what we need. That's what we need in our community. And I'm not going to read all this stuff. I want you to tell us who you are and give us your space.
Well, I'm Helen Jenkins. I've been a nurse since 2001. I became a diabetes educator in 2007, based on my nephew becoming diabetic. And I just wanted to make sure I knew how to take care of him. He was always around me like an extra son. So that sparked my interest. And for me, endocrinology, the endocrine system is just my favorite system overall, because it deals with all the hormones, and diabetes just happens to be in that system. So that's my favorite topic to talk about.
And that's what we want to hear. Understand, we're going to talk about food, my favorite, and talking about diabetes. And this is what you call it, 101, 1.1? 101.
Food and you, diabetes 101.
Yes. So give us some tips that we need to live with diabetes.
Okay, so I do have some slides to show.
Okay.
We all know that food, whenever someone's diagnosed with diabetes, the first thing they have to think about is food. The first, is that the first slide? Yeah, okay. They think about food, that's the concern. You can't really relax because every time you put something in your mouth, you got to worry about blood sugars. So that's one of the things that keeps people from, they either swing on the opposite side of not eating anything, or they go way out and say, I'm just going to worry about it at the end. So I'm trying to teach people how to have balance with it. This first slide just kind of talks about the ways, what drives us to eat. Food is part of our life. It's entertainment, it's comfort, it's us fellowshipping. It's just there all the time. So you want to think about what drives us to eat. And if you look at this slide, it had different pictures. So you see the holiday, you see Santa Claus on the weight, on the scale. You see the gentleman in the car just going because it's like fast food. He's on the move. You see the child who with the broccoli, that's her preference. So preferences, holidays, job, whatever your busyness is going to drive you to eat certain things. You also see up there in the corner, the stress one. Stress drives people to eat as well. Then you see grandma. Nobody likes to turn down grandmom's cooking. So that's part of it as well. Social, with the two people at the bottom at the table. You have the guy on one side, he's a little heavier. The lady's eating a big old burger, and he's looking at her like, how can she eat this? And I'm eating this little salad, but I'm gaining all the weight. My ex-husband used to say to me at night when I used to eat cookies in the bed, how am I gaining all the weight and you're eating the cookies? I don't understand this. But that's what it was. But if you just keep in mind that there are many things that drive us to eat. Food is good. It's meant to be enjoyed. And so I don't like when I hear diabetics say, I can't have this or I can't have that. You can pretty much have everything that you want. It's just a matter of how you're going to eat those things. Okay, I like to have you eat things in combination. Protein and carbohydrate always go together. Never separate the two because they provide you a healthy balance. Okay, can you show me the next slide, Dante? Next slide. Oh, wait, before you change it, if you see that lady up there, it says desserts or stress, something up there says dessert spells stress backwards or something like that. I can't really see it. It's kind of small. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on to understanding the carbs. Next slide, Dante. Next slide. Okay, so when you talk about carb counting, that's basically, you really don't have to do that unless you're on insulin. And so most people, if they're on insulin and the doctor wants to give them a certain amount of carbs they're supposed to eat per meal, then they would give themselves enough insulin to balance out that, to take care of the carbs they're eating. What this slide basically shows is it doesn't tell you where the carbs come from. Most of the foods, just about everything you put in your mouth is going to have to be carb, has a carb in it. Okay. It's just a matter of how many carbs are in that particular food. So for instance, even cheese has carbs in it. It's just a certain amount of carbs that's in that cheese that we don't acknowledge that. Lettuce has carbs in it, but it's so small amount, we don't count it. So these things are called free foods. Okay. If you see that list right there, it says, I'm sorry, does anyone have a question? Okay, sorry. You see where it says exchange list? They don't really do exchange lists anymore. When back in the day when they were dealing with diabetes, they had an exchange list. But basically all this is saying is that one portion of something is equal to 15 grams of carbs. Depends upon what that something is. And so that's when you get into carb counting. So for instance, you have an apple that's 15 grams of carbs and a small tangelo that's 15 grams of carbs. You add those two things together and then you have your 30 grams of carbs. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
But so, Miss Helen, I wanted to ask you, what carbs are bad carbs?
That's a good question. Bad carb. There are carbs that you highly recommend based on how they're going to how your blood sugar is going to react to that carb. So, for instance, if you have white rice, I'm going to say eat the brown rice as compared to the white rice. If you have white pasta, you can eat the grain pasta or the wheat pasta, but understand with pasta, it's tricky because it's not the exact pasta that you eat. It is the way you cook that pasta. For instance, if you are, the box says al dente for a reason. Okay, so if you overcook your spaghetti and it looks like a big old snake in the pot, it's going to have a higher glycemic index.
Oh,
yeah. So you cook it al dente like they tell you to cook it, because the more as you overcook it, it just makes the glycemic index a little higher. Okay, brown is always better for the very reason that the glycemic index is going to be a little higher, and you have that slow rise in your blood sugar with brown products as compared to the fast rise with the white product. Does that make sense? So your blood sugar is going to go high faster with white rice than it will with brown rice.
That makes sense. Yes.
Okay?
Gotcha.
That's why I tell people, and you have people who just want the right white rice. I tell them, well, just understand what's going to happen to your blood sugar and just watch your portion control. That's what it all boils down to, portion control. And people, that's the problem that people have. Okay. Any other questions?
I wanted to ask you about the balancing, and that's how I try to do, balancing your proteins and your carbs too. Can you give us a little information on that so that we know how to
balance it out a little better? So say for instance, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Tell me what you had.
I had tea. I had a cup of tea. I had a cup of tea with brown sugar.
Tea?
Raw sugar.
I had sourdough bread and avocado with an egg.
Okay. Charlene, you're on the right track.
Okay.
She had sourdough bread, which was a carb. She had egg, and she had the avocado. That's a very good blend. When I say keep the carbohydrate and the protein together, that means, like I told you ladies earlier, I was getting ready to have some pancakes, right? So I had pancakes, I had a piece of sausage, and I had some eggs. Now, the sausage I don't really count because it's sausage, but I count the eggs, okay? So that was my protein and my carb. So that's really good. Even when you have a snack, if you're going to have the little cherry tomatoes or strawberries or blueberries, always have some cheese with it. Always have some cheese with it. You're going to have your crackers, always have some cheese or some peanut butter, okay? Because it gives you a better balance. If your plate has chicken, rice, and salad, and you want more, make sure you're going to have more of everything on that plate. Don't just grab the rice. Okay.
All right.
That's
so those tips have been so helpful for us, and we thank you so much for giving us that information. We have to keep, and those of you, if you missed it, go back to the show and listen to it, or listen to it on PowerNano4.com, because it's so important that we listen. The more we listen to what we need to do right, and we can help our family and friends. Tomorrow we're going to be cooking for our moms and our aunties, and so make sure that we balance those foods, and we look at this show and show it to everybody while we're eating.
Have one cheat day.
Yes, you can. You can have. I say
see.
What do you say, Helen?
I say one cheat meal, but because it's Mother's Day, take the day. Take the day.
I'll take a day. Okay, good. Thank you.
I appreciate so much. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Thank you.
And your information, how can we get in contact with you?
Well, my name is Helen Jenkins. You can call me at 301-852-3577. And my email account is hjenkins0805@gmail.com. Please send any questions or concerns anybody might have. Just reach out to me.
Okay.
I'll help you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Helen. Love you. Bye-bye.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Yes. All right. Moving right along. We got Kimberly.
Yay, Kimberly.
Talk about these teeth.
Oh, I love talking about teeth. So this is so perfect. Oh, look at Kimberly. Kimberly's back.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kim. This is Kim's first time here. And Kimberly Farley is a registered dental hygienist with over 20 years experience as a clinician, an educator, and also in education leadership. As an entrepreneur, Kimberly founded Oral Health and Wellness Learning, LLC, a company that bridges the gap between oral health and cannabis. The mission is to promote healthy medicinal experiences through education and public speaking while helping clients understand the benefits of cannabis. That's one of my favorite subjects. And her company has created her own CBD tincture, which focuses on oral and systemic health. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I want to let everyone know that she's also our family hygienist. Okay.
Yes. It's interesting how you and I met, Linda.
Yes.
And didn't
yes.
even know the connection. I had spoken at the National Canna Fest, and Linda and I had made a connection, but who knew that I knew her daughter and her grandchild, her
And that's
grandson.
Dante,
Wow.
our producer, Dante, has beautiful
Yes.
teeth.
Yes. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Well,
Oh,
welcome to 4Sisters
Welcome.
Live. What do you
Thank
have
you.
for us today? Because
why
I
is
know
oral? I want to know, number one, why is
Yes.
oral health so important?
Mhm.
Boy, I tell you, oral health is the gateway to your health. Everything goes through your mouth, your food. And so it's really important that you take care of your oral health. If your mouth is it's the foundation. And as we get older, a lot of times people think that as we get older, we're supposed to naturally lose our teeth, but that's not the case. We're supposed to have our teeth for the rest of our days and beyond. So what I've discovered is that when we get older and your oral health isn't intact, it affects your overall health because you're not able to eat the correct foods that you need to eat. You're not really able to enjoy food because you have issues with your teeth, either pain or you're dealing with partials or dentures. And once you lose your teeth, it's never the same. It's never the same. So your oral health is directly correlated to your overall health, not just because it's the gateway, but because your mouth can tell you so much of what's going on with your body. So, for instance, I have this, it's kind of a gift and a curse. I can tell if somebody is diabetic just by smelling their breath, really close. And I also can tell if somebody is pregnant by looking at their gums. I had a patient who I had seen for a number of years, and her gums are usually in pretty good shape. She came in, her gums were bleeding, and that's the number one indicator. What happens is your body overreacts to the bacteria. So that's what the bleeding is. That's why your gums bleed, because somewhere in your body, whether it's your lungs, your heart, your liver, or even your blood, somewhere in your body, it's overreacting to the bacteria that's hanging out in your mouth, and your body's trying to send blood cells to correct the problem, but it's a losing battle because the bacteria is constant. So either your body gets rid of the bacteria, or I will get rid of the bacteria, or you get rid of the bacteria. And the way your body gets rid of the bacteria is it kicks out your teeth. The body doesn't care how the bacteria goes, just as long as it's gone. So the bleeding is the first sign. And then what happens after that, the bacteria starts to eat the bone around the tooth, and the tooth becomes loose and wiggles and falls out. So your body's cool with that, but now you have issues with eating. My father was a stonemason, so he was exposed to a lot of cement, and he had COPD. And I used to tell my dad, I said, Dad, you got to take care of your teeth because you're inhaling it, you're swallowing it, and you're breathing it. One time he ended up in the hospital with pneumonia, and his respiratory therapist told him that she believed that he was in the hospital because he wasn't taking care of his teeth. Because the bacteria is now being breathed, he was breathing, he was inhaling it, and his lungs were already compromised. So that bacteria that's hanging out, the gases that are hanging out in his mouth, he's inhaling it, and it attacked his lungs. So we also have issues with diabetes. So if somebody has diabetic issues, it's really hard to control your oral health, and vice versa. If your oral health is out of whack, it's hard to maintain diabetes. So it's directly correlated to your overall health. You can't get away from it at all.
Well, Miss Polly, how important is it that we maintain all this during the COVID? You know, our dental, our oral. You know, because of COVID, so many people weren't able to visit the dentist. You know, so what
Right.
can you tell us relative to how it's affected us during this COVID?
Well, us people of color have a higher propensity of diabetes, heart disease, and it's really important that we maintain that because of that connection. So there are cases where your body doesn't overreact to the bacteria, and it can live in harmony, but that's not the case for most of us. So during COVID, especially because we're not going to the dentist, we're not really feeling as comfortable in that environment. And I get it. I'm in that environment and I understand that. Dentistry is probably the most vulnerable because everything we do is mouth. Everything we do is aerosol. So as soon as you open your mouth and you go to the dentist and we start working on you, we're creating aerosol. So I get how people are a little nervous about going to the dentist now, but it's so important because people that end up in the hospital with COVID, if you have periodontal disease, which is bone disease, or you have some type of gingivitis or gum disease, you have a higher propensity of having issues with COVID because you're inhaling that bacteria and that gas that's not used to being in your system. And it's the same bacteria that's in caca. So the bacteria that's in your mouth is the same bacteria. There's fecal matter in that. Oh. So if your lungs are compromised and you're inhaling this fecal matter, and then you end up in the hospital with COVID, chances are you're going to have really bad response with the COVID because of your oral health. Who knew how incredible it is to take care of your oral health, especially people of color during COVID. And I spoke to a group about this, about making sure that you take care of your oral health. And this was probably right in the middle of when COVID was really, really bad. And a lot of people are really scared of the dentist anyway, not just because of COVID, but it's really, really important. And the most important thing that you can do is use one of these guys. Electric toothbrush is really important because it really will help to remove that bacteria that's living underneath your gums. If your gums are bleeding and you don't feel a problem with that, know that that's a problem because healthy gums won't bleed, period. And if you're having any signs of bleeding, know that that is your body trying to heal something that it sees to its system as a threat. So it is critical, especially during COVID, to make sure that you're brushing twice a day for at least 2 minutes, both morning and evening, and flossing. Flossing is critical, or even using a water pick. As long as you're getting in between the teeth, because that's where the most damage is, and the hardest bacteria is in between your teeth.
Wow.
Dr. Farley, question. How do you see cannabis helping us with our oral health?
Well, I will tell you that there is a system in your body called the endocannabinoid system, and it's probably one of the most important systems, and it's really understudied. But it's a very valuable system because it is the system that promotes homeostasis or balance. It's looking to promote balance throughout your body. One thing about cannabis is that it is really helpful in reducing pain, and is really helpful in reducing inflammation. And so those two things are really critical in your oral health. Your gums are bleeding because there's inflammation. Now, if you get to the point where there's pain, that's a little bit further along. But the inflammation is a big thing. So cannabis, I believe, will help reduce that bacteria in your mouth that causes that inflammation. And so I'm working on finding the literature, or even maybe creating the literature myself, or some literature that shows the correlation between how cannabis helps to reduce inflammation. And the biggest issue, if you have gingivitis or if you have periodontal disease, that's inflammation. So, and it's a trickle down effect. So I do think that cannabis is going to be instrumental for oral health, and I'm trying to, get out there and be in the forefront and help this thing along here.
You're doing a great job.
Yes, that is so true. And people just don't realize how cannabis is putting it in so many products that it's going to help us in the long run. So I thank you so much for this wonderful information. Did we have a picture or any slide of her product or anything before we leave? Dante?
Let me ask a question while Dante is checking. Kimberly, I think all of us are guilty of not doing what we need to do on a regular basis because of COVID, okay? And I'm so glad we're having this conversation because it now makes me go back to realize I need to brush twice a day.
Yeah.
Because I was getting comfortable doing it one time a day.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you brought up the idea of the electric toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the regular toothbrush, and I do have an electric toothbrush. So now I'm going to go back and pull it out and use it.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
can I say something about her product? I would like to hear more about your product and people like myself that will have a storefront to know more about your cannabis product for oral health and how we can get in touch with you concerning that if other businesses, because right now we have a lot of the radio stations like 99.5 and a lot of them that are supporting businesses like yours. And I had no clue that you, a dentist, African-American or minority woman, had that product. So we'd love to hear more about it. So please make sure that we have your contact information down there in the comment section so we can stay in touch. And for those business owners that want to support her or other dentists that want to put her product in their business.
Hey, Kimberly, let me ask you this. I'm in Maryland, but you're in Washington, D.C., correct?
Yes.
Give us your address. I mean, I might have to travel the distance to come. I hope my dentist is not watching this.
Don't worry.
But I might have to travel the distance because I love this conversation. I love how thorough you are presenting this information, and it really triggers us to go back and look at our oral hygiene.
Yes.
Definitely.
I can get all that information to you. For let me think, because I'm always typing the address in my iPad, and now I gotta call it off the top of my head. 4350 Wisconsin Avenue. I am directly across the street from Tenleytown Metro. And I am my product. I work with a cultivator in Maine. And one thing about cannabis, if anybody is interested in learning more about it, it's almost like when you learn about cannabis, you want to think about where the product is coming from. And so for me, it was important to tie it with, it's almost like if you're looking for wine, you wouldn't necessarily buy wine that's from Detroit, but you're going to buy wine that's in California, maybe even Maine, places where it's clean and the air is fresh, those types of things. So for me, my product is from Maine, and I worked with a cultivator from scratch to develop it. And I'm in the process of actually rebranding and looking for maybe a minority cultivator and work with them. But my product is all natural, it's organic, it's full spectrum, so it covers the whole plant. There's parts of the plant that have benefits, but there are over 100 compounds in the plant, and we're only touching 2 of the compounds now.
Kim, we're gonna I hate to cut you off, but we have run out of time, and we're gonna have to have you come back.
Come back.
This is too interesting.
Yes. We can talk about oral health, we can talk about cannabis, whatever you want to talk about. I'm here for you.
Thank
ladies.
you
You guys
so much, Kimberly, for coming, and we will definitely have you back.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies, it has been bomb. We've learned so much today.
Bye, Kim.
See you, Kim.
Bye.
And thank all of our guests for coming on. Just go back to your playback to hear more. And don't forget power904.com if you want to hear it again on your online radio. Ladies.
So,
I want
to say, we got some guests next week.
We got a lot of guests coming on next week.
Yes, this is on you. Go ahead.
Educational segment. Next week, we got Dr. Willie Jolly, we got Cynthia and Cynthia Green, and also William Turner. So come on and enjoy this relationship couple talk
Oh yes, those are our favorite relationship managers. They're keeping us on track with relationships.
Yeah.
All right, well, we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Yes.
And kick your feet up and relax and let the children take care of you. Charlene, what time is it?
It's time for you to walk in your purpose and your prosperity. Until
next time. We'll see you guys.
Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Happy Mother's Day.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Always sisters, always friends. Let's stay real close till the end. Forgiving each other, sharing love. Always sisters, always friends. We have to live in harmony, even though we may disagree. Inspiring each other.